Before the American Revolution, there was no army armed with rifles. It was all muskets.
It was World War II, and the government wanted to know if you could build a large airplane out of non-strategic material.
The episode starts with Rick clowning on the old man's healthy breakfast. A vegetarian burrito? The old man swears it's fine. Eggs, potatoes, and cheese count as the 3 basic food groups. Rick jokes that the only reason it's healthy is because he skipped bacon. Within minutes, they're already bickering about who's the best buyer in the shop. Rick calls himself the master. The old man calls him washed up. Finally, Pops proposes a $50 competition.
And you think that's healthy?
Yeah.
A vegetarian burrito from the taco joint.
Yeah.
What's in it?
The rules are simple. Rick, Corey, and Chumlee each get $50 to spend at a yard sale or swap meet, and the old man will decide who made the best buy. Winner gets bragging rights as best deal maker. Rick, of course, is cocky, saying he's unbeatable. Corey and Chum, they're plotting, because if there's one thing better than buying a deal, it's humiliating Rick in front of Grandpa.
You guys get off my damn case, will you?
Leave the night crew alone, man. They didn't do that bad. All that stuff will sell.
But before the contest, a seller walks in with something wild. A pen used by President Lyndon B. Johnson to sign Medicare into law in 1965. Rick immediately geeks out. This was history in his hand. The seller wants $5,000, claiming it's been in his family forever. Rick isn't so sure. He reminds everyone LBJ sometimes used 100 pens to sign bills, meaning they're not exactly one of a kind. Still, it's a slice of American history.
I got this pen that LBJ used to sign Medicare into law.
That's pretty cool. Not one of my favorite presidents, but pretty cool.
The negotiation is hilarious. Rick offers $800, the seller insists on $4,200, and the old man snipes from the sidelines. Rick finally bumps up to $1,000, calling it his top dollar. The seller reluctantly agrees, though you can see the disappointment in his face. The old man immediately calls Rick out, saying he overpaid. Classic family roast. Rick buys history, but still loses dignity.
So, tell me, how much you want for it?
You know, it's been in my family for a long time. I need some cash, so I'm saying $5,000.
Out at the swap meet, Rick stumbles onto something bizarre, a creepy soap baby. The vendor explains it might have been a McKinley campaign freebie from 1896. Yes, apparently people used to hand out soap molded like babies to win votes. Politics has always been weird, folks. Rick offers $10. The seller pushes for $25, and they settle at $20. Rick struts off convinced it's the deal of the century. Spoiler, no one else is convinced.
Yeah, I don't know if this is one of them, but when McKinley ran for president in 1896.
Meanwhile, Corey scores what looks like a win, a vintage bus token change machine from the 1960s. The seller wants $100, but Corey smooth talks him down to $50. He's grinning ear to ear, claiming he'll flip it for $500. Honestly, it's the first time Corey has looked confident all season. The old man is definitely going to respect this buy, and Corey knows it.
That's a token and change machine from an old bus in the 1960s.
Not to be outdone, Chumlee finds himself a vintage G.I. Joe astronaut doll, complete with its original box and lifelike hair. The seller wants $75, but Chumlee works his goofy charm and lands it for $50 flat. Chum is convinced nostalgia toys sell fast, and for once, he's right. Even Rick admits it's a solid pickup. This contest is suddenly looking competitive.
Everybody loves G.I. Joe with lifelike hair. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Toys are so easy to sell in the shop.
Back at the shop, another seller arrives with a Kentucky long rifle. He hypes it up as the most significant gun ever made in America. Rick chuckles, but admits the rifle was revolutionary during the Revolutionary War. With insane accuracy compared to British muskets, it helped colonists dominate from long range. The seller wants $1,500, but Rick lowballs at $500. Negotiations collapse instantly, and the seller leaves, joking he'll still be friends.
You sound like someone selling tickets on a ship to go to America.
I would dare say if there was a catastrophe in the world, that there would take an army to take over my house.
Then comes one of the strangest items ever, a Bible supposedly owned by Mickey Mantle, with a handwritten letter to Roger Maris taped inside. The seller dreams of $1,500. Rick's skeptical. The story sounds too perfect. The note reads overly religious and not very Mickey Mantle-ish. Rick calls in an autograph expert, because if this is real, it's gold. If not, it's literally just a taped-up Bible.
For an autograph like this, the money's all in the story. So I just need to make sure it checks out.
The expert takes one glance and shuts shuts it down. He explains Mantle's real handwriting had block lettering and crude signatures, not this neat cursive style. The verdict? Mickey Mantle never signed it. Total fake. The seller's crushed, but vows to keep treasure hunting. Meanwhile, Rick just smirks like a dad teaching the kids a too-good-to-be-true lesson.
Well, check it out, man. Tell us what you think.
The first thing I want to do is take a look at the ink. Now, it looks like maybe a tape was kind of applied to it first.
Finally, it's judgment time. Rick presents his soap baby, bragging it's presidential memorabilia. The old man looks at it and says it looks like a turd. Corey unveils the bus change machine, which the old man admits is worth flipping but will take time. Chum shows off his G.I. Joe, complete with box. The old man thinks it'll sell fast. Suspense builds as he weighs his options.
It's an old fare box for buses.
Okay.
How much you pay for that?
$50. I guarantee you I can get $500 for that thing.
And the winner? Chumlee. The old man crowns him best deal maker, saying his G.I. Joe was the easiest to sell and the smartest buy. Rick is visibly crushed, Corey shrugs, and Chum struts around like he just won the Super Bowl. Rick grumbles that his soap baby was presidential history, but no one's buying it. Literally.
The damn judge.
What do you think, boss?
Well, Corey, yours is a pretty nice item.
The episode wraps with the old man declaring himself judge, jury, and king of the pawn shop. Rick sulks, Corey defends his machine, and Chumlee gloats endlessly. The takeaway? You can bring in historic pens, rifles, and fake Bibles, but in the end, nothing beats a boxed 1960s G.I. Joe. Oh, and Rick should probably stop buying things that look like soap turds.
We're in the shop.
Really?
His is the most easiest one to sell.
What do we got here?
Saddle that was used by Kevin Costner Dances with Wolves.
This saddle is from Dances with Wolves. It could be worth big money.
Okay, hold up. Today's episode opens fast. We've got a Kevin Costner Dances with Wolves saddle, a tattoo kit, and an 1886 Winchester rifle. Basically, the Old West meets Vegas Inc. Rick's all business as usual, but Chumlee, he's just excited someone said tattoo. You can already tell we're in for one of those what could possibly go wrong episodes. And yeah, plenty will.
So what do we got here?
Saddle that was used by Kevin Costner Dances with Wolves.
All right.
The first customer waltzes in, proudly holding a saddle he swears Kevin Costner rode in Dances with Wolves. He's practically glowing as he says, "I'm a big fan of Kevin Costner." Meanwhile, Rick looks like he's trying to find a polite way to say, "Sir, this looks more Civil War than Hollywood." Can anyone else feel the skepticism dripping from his tone?
Civil War? I don't know if it's a reenactment or a different movie, but I just see nothing here with Kevin Costner.
Rick flips through the so-called proof, some faded photos and a card. Let's just say the evidence screams flea market, not film set. Rick straight up says, "This looks like a Civil War reenactment." Brutal! You could see the seller's soul leave his body for a second. And Rick, he's already theorizing that Hollywood might have used a real military saddle. Translation: this might be valuable, just not for the reason the guy thinks.
But this saddle does appear to be old U.S. military. This thing could be worth a lot of money either way. So you got two things that could make it worth money. It's actually a U.S. military issue saddle.
Rick brings up an interesting twist. It could be a legitimate U.S. military issue saddle, maybe from the Civil War to early 1900s. The man's eyes light up again, like he just got his hope refunded. Rick agrees to call in an expert to check it out. As long as the expert's seen Dances with Wolves, the seller jokes. Classic Pawn Stars banter, but you can tell he's sweating inside.
What do we got here?
1886 Winchester rifle.
Looks like a Daisy Red Ryder, don't it?
Switch scenes. Now we've got a customer with an 1886 Winchester rifle, and Rick's excitement is instant. He even calls it the gun that won the West. The guy casually mentions his father-in-law used to threaten him with it. Okay, red flag and a half. Family bonding, Pawn Stars style. Rick's grin says it all. Yup, I'm buying that trauma piece.
And this thing is a 4590 Winchester centerfire.
Rick nerds out like a history professor on espresso. He explains every technical detail. 45 to 90 Winchester center fire, 90 grains of black powder. Meanwhile, the seller's nodding like, sure, whatever gets me cash. But then Rick points out hammer marks from a sloppy repair job. Translation: you tried fixing this with a rock. Still, Rick offers $1,500. The guy's thrilled. Rick's thrilled. The gun? Probably relieved.
Chum,
What's up?
this guy's gonna tattoo your face.
Guy's gonna tattoo my face. You don't want to mess up this circle of beauty.
Enter the tattoo kit guy, and this is where things get messy. He proudly declares, "I wanted to be a tattoo artist, but things changed." Corey really paying attention before Chumlee jumps in like a kid on Christmas morning. You just know he's about to do something dumb. The seller lists everything: liners, shaders, 20 inks, and Chumlee jokes about cooking a pot roast in the sterilizer. This man is chaos personified.
He knows I'm into tattoos around here. I mean, I got $6,000 worth of ink on my arms alone. It's a huge business here in Vegas.
Chumlee's flexing now. "I got $6,000 worth of ink on my arms." Corey off-screen probably muttering, "and zero worth of common sense." The seller wants $400. Chum offers $300. Negotiation seems civil until Chumlee adds, "Draw a portrait of us and maybe I'll throw in 50 more. The man's face says it all. What did I just agree to?
You know this is bad. I'm not giving you any more than the 300. We'll see what you got. Why does Chumlee have wings on?
The seller sketches, and it's something. Chum's got angel wings. Big Hoss looks like a linebacker in eyeliner, and everyone's trying not to laugh. Hoss declares, "That's worth the extra 50. It's pure Pawn Stars gold. Awkward, hilarious, and totally Vegas." Seller walks away $350 richer, which in Pawn Stars math means he got a deal and a free roast.
My name is Mark, and I'm an expert in Western memorabilia. What I love about Western memorabilia, it's part of the history of our country.
Cut back to Rick, who's still hung up on the Kevin Costner saddle. Enter expert Mark, ready to shatter dreams with a smile. He confirms it's a McClellan military saddle from 1859, but points out it's too small for a grown human. It was likely for a pack mule. That sound you hear? The seller's heart breaking in slow motion.
So was this used in the movie Dances with Wolves?
Well, I'd seen the movie many times, but when you called, I watched it again. But this time I watched and looked at every saddle in the movie.
Mark then delivers the finishing blow. "I watched the movie again. This saddle wasn't in Dances with Wolves." Rick's smirk says, "I knew it." Mark even quips, "No ifs, ands, or Kevin Costner's butts. The burn is real." The seller's hopes of a Hollywood payday just rode off into the sunset. But hey, it's still an authentic Civil War relic. Small victories, right?
But in this condition, missing some of the parts and not covered, and I'd say 400.
Meanwhile, we cut to the old man subplot, the classic eye doctor trip. Corey's roasting him non-stop. "Why's the guy who can't see driving me to the eye doctor?" The old man's grumbling the entire ride, and honestly, I'd pay for a spin-off show of just this chaos. The eye chart scene, comedy gold. 3 little dots, he says. Corey's losing it. I'm losing it. Everyone's losing it.
I don't think it was used in the movie Dances with Wolves. No ifs, ands, or Kevin Costner's butts. But in authenticating something as being used by a specific person, you need more documentation than just an auctioneer's word saying this came from such and such a movie.
And there you have it. Kevin Costner's saddle wasn't Hollywood after all, but the drama sure was. Rick's got his answers, the tattoo guy's got his cash, the old man's got glasses, and Chumlee? Well, he's still a menace to workplace safety everywhere. Talk about an episode packed with laughs, surprises, and a touch of chaos. The episode kicks off with pure chaos. Donuts. Yes, donuts. Dave brings in a box, and immediately, the old man, Corey, and Chum start betting on which flavor Rick will pick: chocolate, plain, pink, or glazed. The stakes? Losers split the lunch bill. Rick walks in, and they stare at him like gamblers at a horse race. He's suspicious, muttering about laxatives in the donuts. Folks, only on Pawn Stars can a donut cause this much drama.
Probably some gifts.
Sweet. I always take donuts. I'll leave the plain ones for Ricky.
Then business picks up when a customer shows Rick a test piece from the legendary Spruce Goose. That's Howard Hughes' massive plywood airplane, the one with a wingspan longer than a football field. The seller wants $10,000, claiming it came from an engineer's estate. Rick, ever the history nerd, geeks out, explaining how Hughes built it because aluminum was scarce during World War II. Still, without proper paperwork, Rick isn't taking the bait just yet.
Have a small test piece used in the development of the Spruce Goose that I want $10,000.
Rick calls in aviation expert Mark Hall-Patton, who dives into engineering details: laminated wood, heat, pressure, bending beams. He confirms it's legit, a real piece from Hughes' project. The seller beams, thinking payday. Rick's shop rep, though, throws a nuclear lowball: $200. $200. The seller's jaw hits the floor, muttering it's a sign to keep it. Talk about whiplash. $10,000 dream turned into a pawn shop gut punch.
Pretty good, because somebody will look at it and it's in Dad's stuff, and Dad passes away, and it's like,
Back at the shop, Rick faces another round of donut harassment. Everyone insists he pick one, but he refuses. They finally confess. They've been betting on which donut he'd grab. Rick shakes his head, calls it stupid, and storms off. But here's the kicker. He admits off camera he can't stop thinking about eating one. This man just lost to donuts. Truly Pawn Stars at its most Shakespearean.
Something that silly. Pick a damn donut.
You guys are down to betting on that?
Next up, a seller brings in a collection of Stephen Fishwick portraits. Elvis, James Dean, Bob Marley, Picasso, even a bald guy Rick claims looks like him. The seller wants $500 each, saying they're limited edition giclées. Rick explains they're basically mass-printed canvases. He starts low at $150 a piece. The seller counters at $300, and after some haggling, they land at $215 each for 6 pieces. Rick calls it wholesale. The seller calls it fun money.
Nice art. I like this. People will buy this. Stephen Fishwick, he's a good guy. He does a lot for charity. He would get in front of large audiences.
Of course, the crew interrupts again with, you guessed it, more donut nonsense. They gather for a meeting with donuts, claiming they might hire Dave for business development. Rick isn't buying it. He refuses to eat, muttering, "There's no way I'm playing into this stupid little bet." The old man calls him a grumpy old man. Corey smirks. Honestly, I've never seen a grown man so stubborn over a glazed pastry.
All right, you guys are being weird. I don't know what the hell's going on, but it's stupid. Can we get back to work, please?
Then comes the showstopper, an architectural model of Joe Robbie Stadium, home of the Miami Dolphins. The seller says it was used in the 1980s to sell the stadium concept around Miami. Asking price? $12,000. Rick admires it, but reminds him the Hall of Fame doesn't cut checks. He lowballs at $4,000. Seller pushes back with $8,000. Finally, they agree at $6,000. Rick looks pleased. Seller looks relieved. Dolphins fans, meanwhile, just look sad.
The hell is this?
Miami Dolphin Stadium.
I'm assuming an architectural rendering or
Yeah.
Back to donuts. Yes, again. The crew presses Rick one more time to just pick one. He finally cracks, saying he won't give them the satisfaction. Corey calls him ridiculous. The old man mutters he's wasting everyone's time, and Rick storms off again. Off camera, though, he admits he still wants one. Folks, this man battled coins, Cabbage Patch Kids, and fake autographs before, but donuts finally broke him.
What are you guys doing here?
Just pick a damn donut.
I'm not going to eat one of those donuts.
You don't have to eat one. If you had to pick a donut, which one would you pick? We've tried tricking my dad and we've tried tempting him.
Between the Spruce Goose piece, Fishwick art, and stadium model, Rick actually pulled off some decent deals. But let's be real. The real star of this episode was the donut saga. The family's ridiculous bet, Rick's paranoia about laxatives, and his stubborn refusal to play along stole the show. By the end, the old man shakes his head, muttering, "Life of the party again, Rick." Translation: Rick ruins fun, donuts win.
There they are.
You know, dude, just, you could have just let us have some fun, man, that's all.
There you are, life of the party again, Rick.
Spoil it again, Rick.
So what did we learn? Howard Hughes' plywood plane was genius but impractical. Celebrity art prints are cool, but only at wholesale. Stadium models can cost more than a car. And Rick Harrison? He might run a multi-million-dollar pawn shop, but he can't out-negotiate a box of donuts. This is Pawn Stars at its weirdest and funniest. And honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Damn it. Chum, figure out something to do with this and write it up, please. What am I going to do with this?
I do think that the 6,000 is still lower than what it's really worth, but trying to move into a smaller place, and I really don't want to take it with me. Oh, I'm okay with it.
The episode kicks off with Rick dropping avocado trivia bombs. He brags that Cinco de Mayo is the biggest avocado day of the year. 80 million sold. Corey groans, "Why do you even know that?" Chumlee interrupts, demanding sombreros, margaritas, and piñatas. Rick tries to sneak in a full-on history lecture about Mexicans beating the French at Puebla, but Chum cuts him off. "I thought this was a party, not a history class." Already Rick is killing the fiesta vibes.
Did you know that on Cinco de Mayo is like the biggest day for avocados of the year? They sell like 80 million avocados for Cinco de Mayo.
Right after Rick's guacamole TED Talk, a customer strolls in with something insane, a supposed Claude Monet painting. Yes, Monet, the guy whose brushstrokes made Impressionism famous. Rick's eyes nearly pop out of his head. The seller explains he got it as collateral for a loan, but the borrower died. Now he's hoping it could fetch $2 to $3 million. Rick's poker face says, "I'm interested," but his voice says, "I need an expert now."
Well, it's a Claude Monet painting.
Is there just a weird chance that your name is Claude Monet, or is this actually the Claude Monet.
No, this is the actual guy.
Rick listens as the seller provides provenance, 1965 appraisal, 1997 Las Vegas Museum insurance, valuing it at $2.1 million. Rick admits he's way out of his league, calling in his art expert, Brett. Rick mutters it could be the most expensive item in shop history if real. Meanwhile, the seller straight up admits he's dreaming of walking out with $1 million. Folks, this is high-stakes Pawn Stars. Millions on the line and a French painter's ghost in the room.
Came in with a painting that he is claiming is a genuine Monet. If this is real, we're talking millions.
Before Brett arrives, Corey gets his own item, a massive vintage fire truck nozzle. The seller claims he wanted to use it to water wildflowers on a mountain, but now he's hoping for $700. Corey geeks out on the engineering, cast iron, bronze, and brass to prevent rust. After some quick haggling, Corey locks it in at $600. Seller's happy, Corey's smug, and we're all still wondering, who actually buys a fire hose to garden?
What in the world did you bring me this time?
This is an old, what they call firefighter station. What they do is they mount these on top of their fire truck.
Next, a guy hauls in commemorative Volkswagen silver ingots from the 1980s. Corey jokes about once wanting a bright yellow Beetle with a surfboard rack. Chumlee cackles, saying Corey's mom feared he'd be flattened by trucks in that thing. The seller hopes for $100 each, but Corey does the math. 2 ounces of silver per bar, 8 ounces total, at $20 an ounce. Melt value, $160. After failed haggling, they shake at $160. Seller size, better than a poke in the eye.
No airbag in a car that would just get mowed over by any truck on the road. So.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Rick keeps hammering Mexican history facts. He explains Cinco de Mayo isn't even widely celebrated in Mexico, dropping the actual Independence Day date, September 16th. Chumlee groans, saying Rick's book club is ruining the holiday. Corey agrees, mocking his dad as a know-it-all dweeb. The old man deadpans that Rick is the life of the party, if the party is a library. Everyone secretly agrees. If Rick shows up, the fiesta's dead on arrival.
No, it was the Battle of Puebla. It's when a smaller Mexican force beat a much larger...
No way.
Back to the Monet. Brett finally arrives and nearly faints, saying this could be a $5 million painting. He notes the brush strokes feel right, but warns of red flags, flat colors, lack of texture, and vague provenance. He won't call it fake, but insists on a second opinion. Rick's nervous smile says it all. The seller is still dreaming of millions, while Rick just wants confirmation he's not about to spend more than his Porsche cost.
Okay, they say early period, which is very vague. I mean, he lived a very long life.
Yeah.
He started painting very early.
Meanwhile, in the break room, the crew is plotting treason. Chumlee flat out says, "We need a Cinco party without Rick." Corey agrees, ranting about growing up with constant history lectures. The old man jokes that Rick's annoying know-it-all streak is 100% his own doing. Their plan: lie, distract, maybe even send Rick on a fake history conference detour. Folks, they're literally scheming to ban Rick from his own party. Brutal, but hilarious.
We need to find a way to have this Cinco de Mayo party without Rick. He's just gonna spit out facts all day. Do you really want to have a history lesson, or do you want to party?
The second expert, Gerard, enters. Rick calls him the guy for masterpieces. He inspects the Monet and doesn't mince words. No cracks in the paint, canvas too clean, shadows too flat. His verdict? Absolutely not by Monet, 200% sure. Boom. Millions vanish in seconds. The seller looks devastated. Rick mutters, "Too good to be true," and the dream crashes harder than Rick's party invitations. The mood? Awkward silence and broken wallets.
Painter from the outdoors, from the landscapes. Monet is known for that quality.
Rick admits he's bummed, but relieved he didn't shell out millions for a fake. The seller shrugs, says thanks, and walks off. Somewhere, Monet is laughing from the afterlife. Rick shakes it off, saying it was still fun to dream. This is peak Pawn Stars heartbreak. 1 minute you're planning a record-breaking deal, the next you're stuck with nothing but disappointment and a story about art fraud.
It's not absolutely not by the end of Claude Monet.
Really?
Yeah.
How sure are you of that?
200% sure, because there is absolutely not.
Finally, it's party time. Rick shows up at the shop at 5 p.m., sombrero in hand, only to find nobody. He calls Corey, no answer. He paces, yelling, "Where are you guys?" Then he finds the kicker, a sign with fun facts and some leftover chips. The crew ditched him, taking the party elsewhere, leaving Rick alone with tequila FOMO and a history lesson. Talk about savage.
The guys told me party was going to be at the shop at 5 p.m. in the back lot.
Rick sulks, wandering the empty lot, muttering, "I paid for this party." The others are off screen, laughing at their own private fiesta. The old man probably has a margarita in one hand and a piñata bat in the other. Rick, meanwhile, is stuck teaching himself Mexican history in the dark. The final shot, pure irony. The man who wanted to party big is left out of his own party. Cinco de Mayo never looked so tragic.
Guys, I'm the one who paid for this party. Where is it at?
Why don't you read some fun facts about how to find us?
The episode opens on a sentimental note. Lily announces her one-year internship is ending. Rick and Corey act surprised it's been a whole year, while Chumlee drops the first classic line, "Not pregnant, are you?" Lily laughs it off, but the vibe is clear. She's been a big help and nobody wants to see her go. Even the old man gets reflective, saying life moves on, friends come and go. For once, the shop feels almost emotional.
My one-year review's up.
A year already?
Yep.
No way.
Yeah.
But the emotions don't last long. A seller strolls in with what he calls a Pony Express Bible. The guy's hoping for $5,000, swearing it's one of only 300 printed in 1859. Rick geeks out, giving a history lesson about the Pony Express being lightning fast for its day, carrying Lincoln's inaugural address across the country in under 8 days. Corey chimes in sarcastically, saying it makes no sense for a writer to lug a Bible around while galloping 100 miles.
This is a Pony Express Bible.
Okay. So it's a quick read?
Quick read.
The seller explains writers swore an oath on the Bible, so maybe they kept them. But the book looks rough. Spine falling apart, missing pieces tucked inside. Rick's cautious. He admits the Pony Express is legendary, but also heavily faked. He calls in Rebecca, the resident book expert. While joking, he's hoping it isn't worth just $300. The seller dreams of proving it's Bible number 13 out of the original 12 known copies.
Be riding around with extra weight such as a Bible.
From what I understand, they had to take an oath on the Bible.
Rebecca arrives and quickly breaks it down. She confirms it's not a Pony Express Bible, but an Overland Mail Company Bible, a slower competing service. The bad news? It's not as rare. The good news? Still valuable, around $6,000 to $7,000 even in its battered state. Rick looks stunned, admitting he thought she'd say it was worthless. The seller looks relieved, and Corey cracks the best joke. If I rode a horse 100 miles a day, first thing I'd do is hit the bar, not the Bible.
Okay.
From what I've found, there's only 12 known to exist. Maybe this is number 13.
The 12 known that you're thinking, that's a 1960 census.
Now comes the negotiation. The seller sticks to wanting $5,000. Rick fires back at $2,500. They haggle hard. $4,000 asked, $3,000 offered. Rick refuses to budge, repeating $3,000 final. The seller caves, saying he'd rather have the cash than the fragile book. Watching Rick wince while forking over the money proves even when he scores, he hates paying up. Still, $3,000 for a piece of Wild West history? Not bad.
Especially when it's not actually a Pony Express Bible. But it's a great piece of Americana, so I'm gonna try and buy it.
Back at the shop, Chumlee tries pulling rank on Lily, making her polish silver now that she's a paid employee. Rick walks in, furious, saying Chum always abuses interns. Chum tries to argue he's mentoring her. Rick shuts it down instantly, reminding him Corey is her actual boss. Chum sulks, muttering about being an investor in new talent. Honestly, watching Chum as a mentor is like watching a cat try to lifeguard.
Red side first, you gotta put some elbow grease into it.
Okay. Doesn't seem like something I should be doing.
The next big item, a World War II atrocity poster, brought in by a rabbi. The graphic poster depicts Nazi massacres in Czechoslovakia after the assassination of Reinhard Heydrich. It's haunting. Mark Hall Patton shows up and goes full history mode, explaining the Nazis destroyed entire villages to prove their power. Corey admits, if you read this and don't get pissed off, something's wrong with you. Even Chum's usual jokes are absent. The seller asks $3,000.
Mark Hall Patton has been my go-to guy for years, and I'm so glad he's here helping out Corey.
Rick negotiates hard, offering $1,500. The seller, clearly valuing history over profit, agrees. He says he hopes someone will treasure its message more than he did. Corey sums it up perfectly. Posters like this make history impossible to ignore. For once, the deal feels less like business and more like preservation. Even Rick looks somber walking away with it. A rare serious moment in the pawn shop circus.
I mean, how much were you looking to get out of it?
$3,000.
But the mood lightens fast. A Star Wars superfan wheels in a Pepsi R2-D2 vending machine from Japan, complete with lights and sound effects. Corey can't resist nerding out, explaining Pepsi beat Coke for the Star Wars license and that Lucas made more money on toys than movies. The seller wants $5,000, comparing it to a Picasso. Corey nearly chokes on his laugh. Did you just compare a soda machine to Picasso? Talk about delusional.
Well, I'm a big fan of Star Wars. My private collection is around 2,000 pieces already.
Corey offers $1,000, and the seller dramatically insists on $3,500. Negotiations crash and burn. The seller storms out, muttering Corey lowballed him. Corey shrugs, saying if he actually had thousands of people lined up just to see it, he wouldn't need a pawn shop. Honestly, the guy comparing soda cans to fine art might have been the boldest pitch in Pawn Stars history.
I'm assuming you came in here looking to sell it, right?
Yep, I'm looking to sell it.
What are you looking to get out?
I'm looking to get out $5,000 for it.
Meanwhile, Chumlee schemes again. He tells Rick he's posting an ad for a new intern, claiming he's a natural mentor. Rick shuts him down instantly, saying he'll handle it. The old man jokes that another intern might help them get rid of the village idiot. Chum looks betrayed, asking if he just got threatened. The old man grins. No, I'm just saying problems solve themselves. Savage.
An amazing pawnbroker, and I think that I could really benefit the shop if I was to take another intern under my wing.
Hey, Rick, I think we should get another intern around here.